Godswill Akpabio appears to have misinformed the public when he claimed that Nigerians can no longer pay any domestic worker below 70,000 naira as minimum wage. Well, Akpabio was speaking at plenary after the new minimum wage bill was passed into law. Akpabio emphasized that the new wage applies to all and sundry, including employers that hire a maid, driver, or gatekeeper. Let's take a look.
Every Nigerian employed in any kind of employment, be it private sector, government, or otherwise, would not receive anything below 70,000 a month. And this is the beauty of minimum wage. It is not maximum wage. It only says that if you're a tailor and you employ additional hand, you cannot pay the person below 70,000. If you're a mother and you have a newborn child and you want to bring in a housemaid to look after your child, you cannot pay that housemaid below 70,000.
All right, Ifemi, before I come to you. Section 4 of the National Minimum Wage Act 2019 stipulates that the minimum wage requirement does not apply to employers with fewer than 25 employees. Well, according to the law, an establishment with the following employees exempted from the minimum wage: A, part-time basis; B, commission or piece rate; C, establishment employing less than 25 persons; D, workers in seasonal employment like agriculture; and any person employed in a vessel or aircraft to which the laws regulating merchant shipping or civil aviation apply. Adefemi Akinsoya. We were just discussing Akpabio yesterday, and I was, praising him for apologizing and promising to treat women better. And now another one.
Okay, why doesn't he know that? Why doesn't he know that it doesn't apply in the domestic situations that he mentioned? Why doesn't he know? And I think that when we're talking about misinformation, intentional or not intentionally, it can be quite dangerous, because now you're going to have people in their households, your drivers and your maids, saying to their madams and their ogas that, well, I need to be paid this amount. And funnily enough, many people are probably being paid that amount or more in their house. It just depends on the situation. But I do think that you have to be careful, especially with your position, when you're making these types of, when you're sharing this type of information, you have to interpret these things clearly. Yes. If there is clearly under Section 4, as you mentioned, the fact that the minimum wage applies to certain people who employ a certain number of people, it's just not something that you can, it's not the type of mistake you should be making.
I understand that
I mentioned this yesterday. I must have quoted that Section 4 of the Minimum Wage Act like 10 times on this program. Now, what I said yesterday is that the law is a law. The minimum wage is a law.
Yeah.
So the question I asked is the National Assembly going to remove or amend or rework that Section 4? So because what they are going to come up with is the new Minimum Wage Act 2024. So when it comes, we'll look at it and see whether that Section 4 in the 2019 Act is retained. So that is it. We cannot reach any conclusion until we see what they have published to say this is the law.
Absolutely. Adefemi, should we take another?
Yes.
Ayo, take another story. Well, Nigeria's former First Lady, Mariam Sani Abacha, and her son Mohammed have filed a lawsuit against President Tinubu, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and 3 other government agencies before the Court of Appeal in Abuja, seeking recovery of an alleged unlawfully revoked property belonging to the former head of state, the late General Sani Abacha. The property, said to be located in the Maitama district of Abuja, was revoked by the federal government and sold to a private company, allegedly without the knowledge of the Abacha family. Miriam and Mohammed are asking the Court of Appeal to void and set aside the judgment of Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court in Abuja, which on May 19, 2024, dismissed their suit on the property. According to them, a party to a proceeding cannot transfer title to a third party during the pendency of an action. I mean, we are seeing this story. Obviously, Nigerians have reacted because we have been talking about Abacha loot, as Dr. Bati will say, our money. Where is our money? Only last year, especially, I believe the Federal High Court had, asked the federal government to account for the $5 billion loot that was recently recovered. I'm not 100, the case is in court in terms of the Land Use Act and all of that, but Nigerians are saying, please, where is our loot?
In fairness to them, we don't know how this land was gotten.
Yes.
We don't know if it passed due process at the time it was allocated. We don't know where the money came from that bought the land, whether it was, I don't want to believe that all their wealth is from loot, even though we've seen that a significant amount of Nigerians' common wealth is in the coffers of a particular family. And so I can understand a number of people coming out to say that you are in court again for another property. Yeah. But as you mentioned, and as you stated earlier, the matter had been to court and was struck out because they said they didn't have jurisdiction. Now they're appealing as well, stating that they didn't quite agree with the ruling of that particular court, and they're going to the appeal court, even though the property in question has now been sold to a Salamed organization. So the Salamed organization is joined as the fourth respondent to this particular action. So let's see how this will pan out. But just to mention that, unfortunately, and this is what happens with bad leadership, bad governance, looting, everything you own will be put under scrutiny.
Yeah.
Everything you own will be seen as, is it really your money that you used to purchase this, or is this one of Nigeria's commonwealth that has been put into a particular land and now you're claiming the land? That is the challenge here. But we don't know if indeed it is stolen money that bought that land.
Okay, it's called the law of real property, or land law, as it is popularly otherwise known. Now, every Nigerian, whether you are Abacha's son or Abacha's wife, you have the right to own property, movable and immovable property, under Section 43 of the 1999 Constitution. So whether Abacha stole Nigeria land or not, members of his family have the right to own land, Section 43, and by extension, Section 44 of the 1999 Constitution. However, if you acquire land or real property, have you taken possession? Possession is 99% of the law. 2, do you have the appropriate title to it? By having the appropriate title means that you will have gone through the necessary processes. We saw that in Kwara State at a point when there was an attempt by the government of the day to take land from the Saraki family. So those are the issues. And it's within the rights of the Abacha family to say, well, the FCT authorities have reallocated our land, or they have revoked our right of occupancy if they have it. Right. And then they go to court. So Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court of the FCT has ruled against them. Now they've gone to the Court of Appeal. They can even go all the way to the Supreme Court to, assert their right.
Yes.
The law allows you to pursue your rights. Yeah. And within the hierarchy of courts, if one court does not favor you, you go to the next one, all the way to the Supreme Court. Yeah. So I think the Abacha family, yes, they can go to court.
They have a right to go to court, absolutely.
We judge.
Yeah, they have a right to go to court. Nigerians are still asking for their loot. Well,